actually, what this advertising boycott is going to do, it's going to kill the company.
Is Elon Musk's X actually at risk of bankruptcy? Since Elon Musk took over Twitter in late 2022 and rebranded it as X, the platform has been caught in a whirlwind of controversy, drastic changes, and financial turmoil. And one of the most significant impacts has been a sharp decline in advertising revenue, driven by widespread boycotts from major brands. As advertisers pulled back, Musk's frustration became increasingly public.
Go yourself.
And it even led him to initiate legal action against organizations that had advised brands to reconsider advertising on X. But has Elon gone one step too far this time? Is his devotion to sculpting Twitter into a platform hell-bent on promoting free speech ultimately going to bankrupt the company? What's the future for X? Is this the start of a potential collapse? Or can the company survive? Twitter, or X, has historically relied heavily on advertising for revenue, with ads accounting for over 90% of its income prior to Musk's takeover. However, since Musk assumed control, the platform has faced what can only be described as significant challenges in maintaining this crucial revenue stream. In fact, according to Media Radar, advertisers apparently spent just $744 million on X during the first 6 months of 2024. That's about 24% lower than the more than 982 million advertisers dropped on the platform in the first half of 2023. But compare that to the last 6 months the company was publicly listed on the NASDAQ, and you can really see the difference. $2.38 billion of revenue in the 6 months leading up to June 30th, 2022. The difference is stark. But why has there been such a sharp decline? Well, several factors are at play, but the leading cause appears to be advertisers' growing discomfort with the platform's direction under Elon Musk. Changes in moderation policies, a surge in misinformation, hate speech and other controversial content, and Musk's personal polarizing comments have all contributed to the deterioration of trust among advertisers. In fact, many prominent brands, including CVS, Unilever, and Coca-Cola, began pulling their ads from the platform as brand safety concerns grew. A key issue for advertisers is the platform's increasing reputation as a space where harmful content can appear next to their ads. And since Elon Musk eased content moderation and allowed previously banned accounts to return, research has indeed shown an increase in hate speech on the platform. A study from CASM Technology and the Institute for Strategic Dialogue showed in the 12 months after Elon Musk's takeover of X, the weekly average of anti-Semitic tweets rose 106%. Now, I will note that Elon Musk has refuted these studies.
What hate speech are you talking about? I mean, you use Twitter.
Right.
Do you see a rise in hate speech?
I mean,
But just a personal anecdote, like what do you? I don't.
But the overarching point here is that if advertisers have any reason to believe that X is becoming a hub of hate speech and misinformation, they will pull their funding. At the end of the day, no advertiser wants their products showcased alongside harmful or controversial content. And with the growing unpredictability of X, these companies have simply shifted their budgets to other platforms like TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube. But it's not actually just about the problematic content. The pullout from advertisers on X was also a calculated business decision. Platforms like TikTok and Instagram, with their growing popularity among younger audiences, are now largely the preferred advertising spaces just generally. TikTok in particular has seen significant increases in ad revenue, with over 77% of marketers planning to increase their spending on the platform. It's a similar story with YouTube, Google, Instagram. But in contrast, a survey revealed that a net 14% of marketers plan to decrease their investment in X. Advertising on X just isn't all that popular, and currently businesses looking to spend can get more bang for their buck elsewhere. And talking about getting bang for your buck, beautiful segue, that brings me to an app that I've been using throughout this year that saved me a hell of a lot of time and money, and that is Blinkist. So what Blinkist does is it summarizes thousands of non-fiction books and podcasts into quick 15 to 20 minute blinks. And the range is absolutely huge these days. You look at all these categories that you can dive into: entrepreneurship, marketing and sales, economics, money and investment, productivity, career and success, philosophy, and that's just a few. For example, in the money and investments category, you can even check out Warren Buffett's book recommendations and have a look at a book like The Intelligent Investor. 21 minutes later, I've got a really amazing 21st century summary of the whole book, which was originally published back in 1949. I really like using Blinkist because for me it's incredibly affordable considering it gives me thousands and thousands of books, but more importantly it saves me a lot of time. So I'm someone that likes to focus on lifelong learning and improvement, but as you guys know, it's hard to fit these things in sometimes. We've all got very busy lives. Well, 20 minutes before bed, I can just find a title to work through, 15 minutes on the tram into work, 30 minutes in my lunch break. Blinkist really makes it easy to fit in that learning time. And as always, I did want to remind you guys that by using my referral link down in the description or the pinned comment, or by scanning the QR code on the screen, you can get a 7-day free trial of Blinkist to see whether you like it. And if you do, you'll also get 40% off Blinkist annual premium. So with that said, I wanted to say thank you to Blinkist for sponsoring this video. Now back to X. And the short of it is this. Overall, you have Elon Musk taking over this social platform to try and create an online space for free speech, but X's business was not really prepared for the potential consequences of this new mission. And it has caught them out. Advertisers are pulling out, revenue is plummeting, and Elon is growing increasingly frustrated. But all this really came to a head when an organization called the Global Alliance for Responsible Media, or GARM, started cautioning its member advertisers to reconsider their spending on X altogether. GARM counts more than 100 prominent companies as members and is a voluntary ad industry initiative run by the World Federation of Advertisers that aims to help brands avoid having their advertisements appear alongside illegal or harmful content. And GARM understandably raised concerns about brand safety on X, particularly following Elon Musk's changes to content moderation and platform policies. But after its advisories encouraged brands to be mindful of their ad placements on X, well, this indirectly led advertisers to reduce or pause their spending on the platform. And with X's revenue hole suddenly deepening further, Elon did not take too kindly to GARM's recommendations. Musk expressed his frustration with the advertising boycott in multiple tweets and statements, blaming organizations like GARM for the sharp drop in X's ad revenue. He claimed that these organizations had exerted undue influence on advertisers and caused billions in lost revenue for X. And ultimately, in response, Elon actually took legal action. In 2023, X filed a lawsuit against GARM which accused them of colluding with businesses to collectively withhold billions of dollars in advertising from Twitter. 4 of GARM's member advertisers, CVS, Unilever, Mars, and Danish energy company Ørsted, were named defendants in the suit, which was filed in federal court in Texas. But it didn't go far in the end, as ultimately the legal proceedings caused such a financial strain on the organization that they simply had to shut down. A statement from the 9th of August reads, "GARM is a small not-for-profit initiative and recent allegations that unfortunately misconstrue its purpose and activities have caused a distraction and significantly drained its resources and finances. The World Federation of Advertisers therefore is making the difficult decision to discontinue GARM activities." But despite winning the battle, it didn't really do much for Elon Musk's war, with it really just highlighting Elon's steadfast belief that it's the advertisers causing the problems at X, as opposed to his choices as to the changes in direction. And this, as we all remember, boiled over into a very public display of frustration from Musk at the DealBook Summit late last year, aimed primarily at Bob Iger and Disney after they withdrew advertising dollars from X's platform.
There was advertisers leaving. We talked to Bob Iger today.
I hope they stop. Don't advertise.
You don't want them to advertise?
No.
What do you mean?
If somebody's going to try to blackmail me with advertising, blackmail me with money, go yourself. Go yourself. Is that clear? I hope it is. Hey, Bob, if you're in the audience.
As you can see, the situation has all gotten rather prickly, but with advertisers fleeing, legal battles brewing, and revenue shrinking, the question arises, can X survive in this new reality? And this was a question brought up by Andrew during this Elon Musk interview as well, a question that got a worrying response from Elon Musk.
How do you think then about the economics of X? If part of the underlying model, at least today, and maybe it needs to shift, maybe the answer is it needs to shift away from advertising.
Yes, no.
I mean, Linda Yaccarino's right here, and she's got to sell advertising.
Absolutely. So, totally. So, actually, what this advertising boycott is going to do, it's going to kill the company.
So how does X save their company from here? Is it even possible? Well, it's obviously no secret that one of Musk's primary challenges is that X's business model still relies heavily on advertising, and as long as advertising remains such a critical part of Twitter's revenue, their fate really is out of their own hands. And this is why Elon Musk has been exploring other avenues for revenue generation, such as subscription services like X Premium and monetization for creators. Although so far, these efforts are yet to bear substantial fruit. As you can see by this chart, while subscriptions and data licensing revenue is on the uptrend, that is still a much smaller increase than the simultaneous decrease in advertising revenue. And that's a trend that doesn't look to be changing anytime soon, especially considering the stagnation of users on the X platform. In September of last year, X-CEO Linda Yaccarino stated that the platform currently holds around 225 million daily active users, which is actually lower than the reported number in Twitter's last SEC filing before it was taken over and removed from the exchange. In that filing, they noted monetizable daily active users to be 237.8 million. One of the reasons for this is X's struggle to capture the attention of the younger generation, because at the end of the day, X's text-heavy focus is simply not as appealing to younger audiences who tend to gravitate towards fast-paced short-form picture and video formats offered by platforms such as TikTok and Instagram. And this is a good time in the video to talk about network effects. All of these social media apps rely on network effects to flourish. Network effect is simply the phenomenon where a product gets better as more people use it, because there are more people using it. For example, the reason I use Messenger over WhatsApp is because all my friends use Messenger, but the opposite might be true for you. Either way, both these apps flourish due to their network effect. And the stronger that is, the more enticing it is for advertisers to spend money there as well. But if the user counts start shrinking, if younger audiences are choosing other apps, if people choose to leave the app due to changes taking place, or even just because of their view on Elon Musk, then the network effect weakens and the financial difficulties mount. But with that said, there still are some potential positives. For example, while we've heard no concrete updates in a long time, in a discussion at Vox's Media Code conference in September of 2023, Linda Yaccarino, the CEO of X, did note that while advertising revenue may be down, at least most advertisers are still advertising on X to some extent, and she even noted at the time that the company was just about break even and expecting profitability in early 2024. Now, this has been disputed, however, as despite X cutting their workforce by roughly 80%, they are allegedly still dealing with an annual debt servicing cost of around $1.2 billion. And with reports of second quarter US advertising revenue coming in at just 114 million and subscription revenue estimated at roughly 50 million for the first half of the year, it seems highly unlikely that the company is anywhere close to profitability at the current time. So overall, what's the verdict? Can X recover? Well, I think it's a maybe. At the end of the day, Elon could certainly keep the company going through his own personal assets if he so desired. But looking purely at the business itself, at least in its current form, the future of X depends largely on whether it can rebuild trust with advertisers, effectively diversify its revenue streams, and most importantly, maintain a strong user base. If X can't turn around its perception and usage trends, then it does risk losing its relevance in the social media landscape, especially with platforms like TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube continuing to dominate the advertising space. Ultimately, the platform's survival hinges on how it adapts to the current digital landscape and also whether Elon Musk can bring around public perception and steer it towards a more stable and advertiser-friendly environment that can bring the company to a position of profitability. But with that said, let me know your thoughts down in the comment section below. Please leave a like on this video as well if you enjoyed, and most importantly, if you made it this far, please consider subscribing. It takes absolutely no effort from you, but it does make a world of difference for my YouTube channel. So thank you very much if today's the day you decide to jump on board. But apart from that, guys, thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you all in the next video.